Welcome to another session of Home Plate 33. We're here with Bret Boone, the bat and the hitting coach of this Texas Rangers that's visiting here, the Toronto Blue Jays. How are you, Bret?
How you doing?
Absolutely great, and I know better actually talking to you with your experience and as a legend on the field. Bret, I just wanted to actually ask you about the resurgence of this team that at the beginning of the season actually had struggles coming through, but since you actually joined the team, has actually improved on the plate, and you can definitely see the changes in the way they're approaching every at-bat.
Well, I think, when I came on, it's this is definitely a new role for me, and the first time I've been in the hitting capacity role. So it's been a work in progress. It's been a learning process for me, as well as learning the players at the beginning, forging those relationships, and then working. And my role pretty much is, I study the pitchers with the rest of them. We go over that. We have a game plan before each game. But for me, it's kind of sharing my experiences, my struggles, what I learned throughout my career. No, this worked for me. Hey, now when I see a guy, the one thing I can, and I told these guys from the beginning, one thing I can do is relate with you. I can relate with every emotion you'll ever go through. Because I've been at the top of the mountain, and I've been down here just struggling for air, So I can relate. I know when a guy's going through a tough spot, or when he's doing, hey, this is what happened to me when I went through this, maybe try this. So I'm not saying it's foolproof and it always works, but the experience I bring, I try to pass that on as much as I can.
And obviously, like using that as a segue, in terms of that change or that migration of your knowledge, going from an active player now into a coach, what do you think is the hardest part for you as a coach to actually bring that message across?
The hardest part for me as a coach by far is all the work we do and the relationships you forge with these guys. You really start to care about them a lot. They're almost like your kids. I say all the time, I got 13 kids now that I watch, and I live and I die. It's like watching my own son when he was playing in the minor leagues, I'd go to a game, and inside you're just you're pulling so hard.
Absolutely.
And when it works out, you got fireworks going off inside. And when they're struggling, man, it's like you're hurting with them. So it's an emotional roller coaster. It really is, because you put in the work, you see these guys putting in the work, and when it works out on the field, you're so happy for them. And when it doesn't, you're hurting for them. And the one thing I found with all this is I've never felt, once that game starts, once that national anthem's over, I've never felt more lack of control in my life over anything, because really it's on them. You can't go in the box with them. They can only do that, the good and the bad. So that's been the toughest part for me, is the lack of control. And it's almost like I never get hits anymore, ever. We win a game and it's
you left them all in Seattle, where they love you, by the way.
I'll tell you what, when you win a game now as a coach, it's almost a relief. Like, all right, we won. I still get hits.
Yeah.
But when we lose, boy, I go 0 for 5 every time. So that's been the toughest part for me in the transition, is the lack of control.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously being down from the Pacific Northwest or on the Vancouver side and the Canada side, I know, definitely watch you up close, especially on that 116 win season with the Mariners. How do you feel about the fans in the Pacific Northwest?
They're great. I mean, we were just in Seattle recently, and I got to, fortunately in my career, I got to play in a lot of places. I played in Cincinnati for 5 years, but home, and where kind of everybody knows me playing, my best years were in Seattle, and we had some real special teams there. I had some stops in San Diego and Atlanta, but Seattle's what I call home. And every time I go up there, the way they embraced me, I played probably 7 years, 2 at the beginning, 5 at the end. The way that city and the whole Northwest embraced me was a special thing for me, and I'll always be grateful for that, and I'll always be a Seattle Mariner.
There you go. Well, thank you very much, Bret. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, and we wish you the best in this new role as a hitting coach.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.